your article, your story, your promotions, how you can connect with others, a new audience, a quarterly magazine presented online for all to view and subscribe to. For articles, ads, and subscriptions, please contact ipendesigns@gmail.com. For your viewing, you can see past articles, past interviews on www.nanetteMbuchanan.com. Welcome to the show. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is iPen Visions podcast, interviews and conversations. And as usual, we do have an exceptional guest for you tonight. We're running a little late, so please forgive us, but we will not run long. We have other things that are pending, and we're moving on in business and in personal life, so we don't want to hold anybody up tonight. Before I start, the intro, as you well know, introduces our magazine as well as our podcast, and we welcome anyone to come on and share some of your information about your business, your activities in the community. We're trying to connect and make an entrepreneurial community of connections. So the people that you see here, they're looking forward to you connecting with them. We will be providing the information for their information. And if you do see someone on the show that you do want to be in touch with, or you do want to know more about their programs and what they do, please contact us. Please don't let that slip by saying, oh, well, I saw it. Replays of all the shows are on my YouTube channel, as well as my website, www.nanetteMbuchanan.com. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host and partner in what I call crime, because life be life, and sometime, y'all, we have to make sure that, we get things done, and someone has to help you in the background or in the forefront. And my person of choice is Felice Reeves. Welcome, Felice. I'm adding you on, dear. How are you?
Yay. Hello. It's so good to be here tonight. Yay. You and I. Thank you for, giving me the title of partner in crime.
Yes. And I say it jokingly, but we all know that sometimes in business, as we will learn from the gentleman that we're going to introduce you to, that you need to have those different corners covered. And sometimes with leadership, you have to lead those people into that, or you have to prepare them for that. And luckily, I will tell the audience emphatically, I do not have to prepare Felice for anything, because she does it all. So I really appreciate you and appreciate what you do, even being a sounding board. She's a great listener. So I want to acknowledge
her. Mom would be proud right now that I pay attention to somebody.
Yeah, she pays attention. And like I said, tonight's guest, he's going to talk a little bit more about leadership, and with all of the things that are going on in today's world and society, and different ways of doing business and everything else, and in our own homes, as well as our spiritual connection. We all need to focus a little bit more on leadership. So we want to bring to the stage our guest tonight is Dr. Mark Holland. And sir, welcome. We appreciate you taking out the time. We know you're a busy man. So we appreciate you taking out the time to join us here on the podcast. We welcome you. And understand that you are busy. We are busy. Everyone is busy in these times and changes. So we want to welcome you to our show.
Welcome. I appreciate it. And you said something. You're so gracious. You said something earlier that I would like your guest to I'm gonna fess up. You said we running late. Well, guest of this show, Mark Holland, was running late. And and I say that because the other thing you said was life be lifing. Well,
yes.
Tomorrow morning I'm going to a speaking engagement in London, and I'm flying out. And I must tell you that I got to fess up. It slipped my mind. I didn't look at my calendar, and I'm running so late because so forgive me. Forgive me.
You're forgiven.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna try to forgive you, but my life be lifing does not include. Oh, I got to fly out to London.
It does make a difference. And the thing about it is, if you're anything like I am with the calendar, you make arrangements for certain things. And then when you go back to look, the numbers flip. You know,
Yes.
things move around and the numbers flip, and you're like, next week is this week, and this week is next month. And, you know, you get all caught up. But we appreciate the fact that you did say, hey, I'm running late. Give me a few minutes. I'll be there. And life be lifing. You know,
Yes.
that's just it.
I just wanted to make sure that it comes to me because it's mine to own. Because
Wow.
you and your team were ready, and
Mhm.
so thank you for your grace. Thank you for your invitation, and
You're so welcome. You are so welcome. So now that we know that you are going to speak in London, which is great, great news for you as well as those that will be in audience with you, we need to know, who is Dr. Mark Holland? Who are you?
Dr. Mark Holland is the husband of Dr. Michelle Holland for 34 years. Dr. Mark Holland pastored for 24 years. And the reason that he resigned from pastoring is because his wife said that she would like to throw her hat in the ring to be a head of a school. And when she did that, she put herself in a national search. She got a headship, and I told her that I'm with you because you've been lockstep with me for 34 years.
Nice.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm proud to support
Beautiful.
my wife in that. And you know, now I'm in another place. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
place where Mark is doing. Mark is able to do exactly what he wants to do because Mark is a real estate owner for 34 years. Um, so I only say that because real estate provides me a level of freedom
Mm-hmm.
to be able to say, okay, I'm going to shut this faucet of income down or this stream of income down, and then I'm going to shift over to this stream of income. And all of us need to have streams of income.
Yes,
We
yes,
cannot
yes.
allow people to have control over our lives. So I'm also, let's see, what else can I tell you? It's many things I do, but you know, what else can I say?
Well, we're going to get into some of those things. I'm going to show our guests, our audience. I'm going to show them some of the things that we found interesting, and
Sure.
we're going to go with those type things, just so that you know. This is the format that we use with everyone. So it's not something that we're saying because you were late, we're going to pin you to the post. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're doing what we normally do, and we do it in conversation form because of the simple fact that we enjoy it better, the guests enjoy it better, and I think our audience enjoys it better as well when we get
Well,
into the conversations.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but it sounds to me like we ready to play rapid fire.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all.
Look,
Now,
I'm ready to make my move now. Come on.
you ready to make your move? You ready to make your move? Okay. That's why we got my partner in crime up there in the corner. Okay,
Right.
no problem.
And
Now,
Lynette, as we talked earlier, I just want to take the moment to wish everyone a happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because in just honoring that, and Dr. Holland, thank you again for what you're bringing to the table in this conversation. But I just want to just take a moment just before we jump right into all that you are and all that you do. I'm just acknowledging Dr. King on this day.
Absolutely.
yes, and not only that, I think it's a great day to talk about leadership. Being that Dr. King talked so deeply about everyone being a leader, learning how to be a leader, and also learning how to follow great leadership. So we want to talk about the leadership that you provide in the Holland Leadership Collaborative. So could you tell us exactly what that entails?
Sure. Well, let me preface it by saying that I'm certified through the John Maxwell organization. Uh, John Maxwell is Mr. Leadership, pretty much, and through that, I'm certified as a teacher, trainer, coach, and what I'm doing at the Holland Leadership Collaborative. The most important thing for me is bringing businesses together. And the way I lead into that, I tell people that Exxon was a multi-billion-dollar company when they merged with Mobil, which was a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mm.
And they decided that they were going to share resources. And something that I saw as a pastor was very fledgling churches that had 3, 4, 5 members that could have come together and been very strong. But for whatever reason, they decided to fight on their own. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody has to merge. Something that you said, though, is so critical when it comes to leadership. You said it casually, but let me drill down on it. If you want to find an awesome leader, you will find someone that was excellent in following. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's something. I was in a couple of different churches in my life because I was in different places, and it's amazing how you have to have the paradigm that you're going to learn no matter where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I did pick up on was that you can learn just about a lot about what not to do,
Right.
and you
Mm-hmm.
can learn what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And some places I've learned, man, if I ever get in position, I'm definitely not going to do it like that. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
the Hollow Leadership Collaborative is a place where we have an instrument called the Business Brilliance Summit.
Mm-hmm.
The summit is a place where folk come together. Associated with the summit is the Business Brilliance Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we have those, it goes back about 15 years when I owned a construction company,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to go through a state test, and there was a cohort of us about 20 people, and half of the people failed the test,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow. But what I found out is we have a lot of carpenters or journey electricians, whatever they may be. They are excellent at their craft, but
Mm-hmm.
they have no idea how to budget. They have no idea how to market. They have no idea how to set business goals or to have a business plan. So, if you're going to get out here and lead and be an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
you really need to be rounded. And so, my collaborative is that place where people can come and get rounded out.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, we go ahead. Go ahead, Felice.
I was going to say because you said something that resonated with me about, and I think it's more of the mindset of leadership, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm an army brat, so I didn't serve, but my whole life growing up into adulthood was in military form. And I seen a movie maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it was a kind of a military movie where like the guy went through basic training. Well, just not to give away the whole movie or talk about the movie per se, but it was the mindset of like the whole or the drill sergeant um, to where he found out something about one of the recruits that I guess didn't really sit well with his spirit. So even though he was a leader that was very accomplished, the mindset of why he led and what he did to certain people that didn't fall into that perimeter, it
Mm-hmm.
is really not a mark of a good leader
Mm-hmm.
unless, again, I guess you have to look at the objective of who you're leading and why you're leading them, I think. And so just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
see what your thoughts are on that of the mindset of a leader.
Well, I have an advantage that I'll share with you. I'm not going to hide it from you.
Mhm.
And my advantage is I'm also a person that's been in the military.
I know that.
And
I see
and, and there are different types of leadership.
that.
So I've had to serve and use authoritative leadership
Mm-hmm.
because me officer, I need to not reign over anybody, but let them know who's in charge.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
when you're dealing with things in the life or death realm,
Mhm.
you need people need to listen to you when you talk, and they need to
Absolutely.
take action. But then I'm at the other end of the spectrum always, having pastored for 24 years. I'm
Yeah.
also been a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's my hack right there because I've seen both ends of the spectrum.
Sure.
And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people can only lead from one place, but
Mm-hmm.
truthfully, there is no place that you can be successful only using one type of leadership.
Yeah.
And
You've got to know.
yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was agreeing. I was agreeing.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, and a lot of people, it kind of speaks back to what I said about the cohort, where a couple of people, well, half of them failed. They had
Mhm.
that one stick. They knew their trade.
Yeah.
But then, if you get out there and you know your trade and you can't count your money, you're going to have a short-lived business.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and people need to know as well. Most business that you're going to have over any span of a business's life, most business is going to come from two things: repeat business and referrals.
Yeah.
So it's much easier to have happy customers
Mhm.
that will refer other people than to keep trying to get people all over again. Just keep
Yes.
trying to get
Mm-hmm.
a new client, new client, a new client.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so one of the things I had a discussion with a young lady just yesterday, and we were talking about the Business Brilliance Summit. And she said, "Well, what else made you want to do this?"
Mhm.
And it kind of ties into what we're saying here. I told her about the experience in the African American community,
Mm-hmm.
how sometimes, and this is a generalization, but I've seen it more than I have not, which is you go into a Korean store and you don't get the proper service. And so you say, I will not come back to this store, but you go across the street to the next Korean store.
Mhm.
But if you
Right.
have, but if an African American gives you poor service,
Right.
then your
Yeah.
You don't go there
testimony
anymore.
is, I don't. That's why I don't use black people.
Right.
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 So we need to, educate ourselves about ourselves,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
realize the
Mm-hmm.
greatness that we come from, and
Mhm.
realize the unfortunate position that we put ourselves in.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say that to what you said there, because it.
Yeah, and it makes sense because the thing about it is, like you said, to be a great leader, you have to know how to lead, but you also have to have been a great follower. You
Mhm.
have to
Yes.
have been someone that understands from both perspectives.
Yeah.
Um, Unlike you, I wasn't in the military, but I was in the correctional system, and
Oh yeah.
I didn't work with women. I worked with men.
Mhm.
So a lot of people think, oh, you go there and blink your eyes and shake your head a certain way, and you're going to get the respect because they're men and they're looking at a woman. But there are so many men that are there that don't respect women that goes out the window very quickly.
Mhm.
However, you have to learn how to give direction and take direction. You have to learn how to listen, be a listener. And all of these are a part of a leadership strategist, which is what I put up because of the simple fact that in some of the things that you have to use certain strategies with different people.
Yes.
There may
That's
be the person that's hard to understand, but they're easy to learn. Even though
yeah.
they don't understand exactly what they're doing, they are easy to learn. And then you have some that are so animate about what they're doing, they think they don't need to understand it. They just perform and they don't know why they're performing. They don't know what goes into it. They don't have any attachment to it, and they don't get into it. And my question to you is, in all that you do, and we know what the purpose is,
Mhm.
And we understand that you were a minister, but
Mm-hmm.
don't you consider being that leader a part of that ministry and purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Let me say to you what you touched on there. Um, for many of the years that I was a pastor, I also worked in the prison ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting that was, I'm also my degree is from Hampton University, and my undergrad degree, and my degree is in building construction technology. And
Mm-hmm.
another way to say that is civil engineering technology. We build stuff, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what city you're in, but I want to share this with you. I'm in Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
and on Sundays I would be in my pulpit. On Wednesdays I would be in the prison speaking, but Monday through Friday I was building central booking and intake facility in downtown Baltimore, overlooking the yard, which was 98% black men. And
Mm-hmm.
then so I was able to share with them a different perspective. And I told them one time, I said, listen, I want to tell you that if you don't change your mindset and
Exactly.
your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
you are the same thing as a bar of soap. You
Oh,
are.
wow.
I hit him. I hit him straight in the gut with it.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You commodity, and I was privy to, because I was doing the estimating. I knew how much a pillow costs. I knew how much their lunch costs. I knew how much
Mm-hmm.
everything. I knew
Mm-hmm.
all of that. I was able to tell them, listen, it is planned that you come back in here.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's the desire that you come
Mm-hmm.
back in. The system is set up for that. The
Yes.
only way that it's going to change is if you change it.
Right.
And there
Exactly.
are vehicles that you can use, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to be true to yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
so I'm not, you hit me with that question. I'm not sure if I answered it directly, but you poked on that season
Well,
in my life.
I think we're on the same wavelength, because I started with children in the Boys and Girls Club, and it was in the hood. So a lot
Hmm.
of them were on their way to the prison system. I
Mm-hmm.
was not on my way to the prison system. I was happy where I was
Mm-hmm.
until my children got old enough to go to school where I had to increase my income. And I looked at it and said, well, you know what? I can go in the juvenile system and do what I do here and try to help the youth not be part of the system. But again, we face family services, government rules, and everything else, and there's no redirection.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So, with the lack of redirection, I decided to go into the adult institution, and I decided to deal with the men more so than the women. But I believe that even though I am not an ordained minister, I believe that my purpose had a ministry.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. If that makes sense.
It makes complete sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was attaching it to, because you on the other side, you became a minister, but you also, like you said, you had been doing this. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that sometimes when we're doing these things, connecting communities and connecting different things, we don't realize that it's a part of our ministry. It's a part of our purpose to do these things, but it's also a part of a ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
and
want to
it's
share.
great to see it.
Yes, I want to share with you a poem that I wrote was when I was in high school,
Okay.
and I want to share it with you for a specific reason. I'll tell you why. It's called "Is It Worth It?" And so that I sit in the kitchen and study at night. Sometimes I wonder if it's right. All my friends are in the street, but still I study in my seat. I really wish I could go out and play, but I think if I study, I'll have my day, because there's no party in this world, chasing boys and chasing girls. Is it worth it? I think so, but for now, I just don't know. Now, I shared that poem. A
Mhm.
friend of mine who's a pastor, he asked me to come to his men's retreat. And I went there to minister to men, and I had my outline, my PowerPoint all together. and the room was split like this. It was about 30 people in there, and exactly half were from teenage to 20 years old, and the other half
Mm.
was, and the other half was. And so I didn't use my notes, but I shared that poem, and I told the young men who were there that we loved them. I spoke into their lives, and then I said, God has asked me to do this. I need you to pair up, and we paired up. And when we did that, I was just able to minister to them. And of all my years in ministry, this happened not even a year ago. That was probably the most fulfilling thing that has ever happened to me. I'm gonna tell you what happened. After I talked to them from my heart, I went downstairs in the lobby, and we were at a place called Maritime Institute here in Baltimore. And when I got off the elevator, the young men were standing, and they said, "There he is," and they just started clapping.
Wow.
Wow.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
But then I had parents tell me, "My son don't listen to nobody."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you talk about ministry and purpose, I want to make it clear that I retired from pulpit ministry.
Right.
Exactly.
Now I'm
Exactly.
marketplace ministry.
Exactly.
I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that.
Yes.
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 Here's I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm gonna say this one last thing. This is a very dangerous time for people because they don't know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
This is a dangerous time for devil's people. Because I got all that
Right.
powerful
Right.
ministry, but I'm talking to you and not using Christianese.
Yes.
I'm talking
Exactly.
I'm talking to you in
Exactly.
language you understand.
Right.
But I'm giving
Right.
you the word at the same time.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm
And
sorry
that's
to interrupt.
no, you please. There was no interruption. Again, these are conversations, right? And so
This is the way we do it. It's conversations. It's
yes.
conversations.
And so again, thank you not only for your service, but for your service in being purposeful about it. You know, I'm gonna not assume some things, but make some statements that I hope resonate with you because you're called to serve, and a lot of times we as servant leaders
Mm-hmm.
get placed somewhere, and then we never venture forward from our first placement, if you will. So God calls you out, and when you're comfortable in your placement, your role, or the situation, and you stay in that comfort and never allow God to use you to expand, because our God is a God of expansion. And so, but when you are obedient to the serving in the way that God will present it to you, and not just in the way that, hey, I'm 24 years in, this is what I do, this is how I do it. And, we put a cap on it. But when he places you out, he's already equipped you with your ministry,
What you need,
your pastoring, all of that. And he will allow that to be multiplied in whatever setting. And then there's the blessing, because you're not leaning to your own understanding and your own will and way. You're leaning to his.
And the thing about it is, which is the next thing that I wanted to touch base on, is mentors need mentors. We think we know everything, and we think we can open the doors without a key. We think we can, bring the congregation in, and the audience in, and the children in. We think that everybody is going to listen to us bring this message. And I know myself as a speaker, and I'm quite sure you as a minister and a speaker, there's been many times, like you said, where you go there and you read the audience and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not even going to use this PowerPoint. I'm going to have to use what I know. I'm going to have to do what I do, and even if they throw a topic up to you, I remember someone told me that they wanted to, they wanted me to do a speaking engagement on the pressures of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always tell people this, but my kids were not a problem as kids. I didn't have kids that there was no pressure. It was like, well, yeah, we got to do the, okay, yes. I didn't have a lot of problems with my kids. I was in that boys club and was scared to death, but I was not scared to death at home, So when we sit down and we talk to people that have just a taint bit different in experience, in knowledge, in a route to do things, mentors need mentors. How do you express that to people that you have talked to who think, hey, I went through your collaborative sessions. I did what you told me to do. I'm good. How do you get them to realize that you still need that mentorship?
I think the most important thing is to model that. I can't really say to people, you should do this or do that when I'm not doing it. Now, when I decided to become a speaker, I basically looked around and I said, I call, the motivational speaking piece. I said, well, the word best is very relative.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, who resonates the most with me?
Yeah.
Right.
Who can I connect with and learn? And I said, okay, Les Brown. So Les Brown is my mentor. So I can say to people, you went through me as a mentor, but I have a mentor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so even if you decide to break off from me, which is no problem, I want to tell you a concept that I had in the ministry. When we started the ministry, God put in my spirit to always let people know that our ministry was a launching pad.
Very good.
In other words, you come here, we got some good stuff. People gonna come here because our grass is green and it's good, you know. But you don't have to stay here, and I don't want you to ever feel obligated to stay here. I want you to come, grow,
and go your
and
own grass. Right, go out and spread
things,
your seeds.
do things in decency and order. We're gonna treat each other with respect.
Yeah.
But if you move on, that's the whole point of what we're doing. We are here. We're here to equip leaders. So a lot of folks say, these are my people. I avoided a lot of stress because I always recognize them as God's people.
God's people, yes.
Exactly.
So,
God's people.
Exactly.
So mentors certainly need mentors. And I did an article in Black Enterprise with Les Brown on this very subject. We wrote an article, and I questioned him some, and he talked to me. And guess what? As a matter of fact, 2 days ago, Les Brown put in LinkedIn. He wrote in LinkedIn that mentorship is not a one-way street. And I'm sitting here. I really just dig the man because I love the way he teaches. I love everything.
Yes. Yeah. I too.
But then he said, I learned from Mark Holland. I said, it's another Mark Holland? Where he at? But
well, that's what you said earlier in the beginning, that true leaders never stop learning, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so you never stop learning, and that is the mark of a leadership. Because again, as we were talking about, I gave that little analogy about being in pastoring one way, and being okay with staying quote unquote, as we say, in our lanes, right? So it's all about learning, and you can't be a leader if you're a know-it-all.
Right, right. Or you can't be a leader if you're not accepting advice, or you're not
I,
accepting another perspective, or you're not accepting that there could, I mean, the quickest way that I use this analogy with the recruits that I trained and the kids that I talked to, I would ask them, how many ways can you make the number 5?
mhm.
5 plus 0, 4 plus 1, 3 plus 2. There's so many ways that, 10 minus 5. There's so
Mm,
many ways that you can come up with the number 5. So why
yes.
would you reject someone else's way of accomplishing the same answer? There's so many ways to look at it that you have to be acceptable to the fact that your way is not the only way. And if you're
You,
going to become someone that teaches, you have to teach that there's various ways.
you,
You
you
have
know what
to.
you have to, and you know what's fascinating? I travel around the I travel around with Mr. Brown, and we go to places where there are people who are CEOs, people who are on top of their game. But what I noticed about him, and I just study him everywhere I go. And he always says to people, the first thing he says, and he even says it to me, even though he's my mentor, he always says the same thing to me. He says, in this moment, are you coachable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you got to think about that for a minute, because you might think you know it all.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so true.
Right.
So true.
And even though I've had people say that I don't think you're coachable, and they've told me that, and I've accepted it and kept going. But the thing about it is, it's also, are you willing to receive what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, in the realm of talking to these people, that we now have all of these people that have brilliant ideas and brilliant things, but they got the shortcut method of doing it. If I already know that you can't put fire on the stove and don't put grease in the pan and get a good piece of meat cooked, then why would I accept you doing it that way when I already know it doesn't work that way?
I'm
At
gonna tell
least,
you what.
at least be on the same path of understanding. And if I don't understand, be able to explain it to the point where I can understand. Because sometimes, and I love Les Brown and John Maxwell and those in that group, because I've followed some of their writings and read some of their books and all of that. But that's an elite group, like they're the generals of the group. When you're
Yeah.
talking to some of these scrubs that think they generals,
Mm.
that's where we fall into the scams. That's where we fall into people losing their money when they they invest in trying to uplift themselves, and they lose their money, and they lose their faith in having a coach, or they lose their faith in having a mentor, because of the simple fact that they bumped heads with some of these people that just they don't know how to cook the meat. They don't know how to season the meat. They don't know how to prepare the dinner, and they serve it on a paper plate. You
Well,
know,
what I hear you saying is that you're a woman of discernment. You know, I can't. I'm not. It's certain people who I'm not even. Let me preface it with this. I feel like you can learn something from
from
everybody.
everyone. Yes.
Okay. Now I say that, but I'll put this caveat in there. Some of the stuff I don't want to know,
Right.
because
Right.
you,
Right.
Yeah, no kidding. I
Right.
mean, because I
I,
think, yes, you can learn something from everyone, but you can learn what to do and what not
And
to
what
do.
not to do.
there
And
you go.
that's what I'm saying. Those that have said that to me, I have watched them almost disappear because
Yeah.
of the simple fact of the way that they've been doing things. And had I went that route, and I'm so glad that I'm a faith believer in that little twinge that you get that says
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because
I felt that
some
before. Yeah.
Yeah, you get that little twinge. You like, no,
Mhm.
I can't do that. No. And then the answer is, well, you're not really coachable.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. And I'm
So,
glad you don't want to be my coach. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
Dr. Holland, what's your favorite part of leadership for you? What's
You know, my favorite part of leadership is learning more about leadership and executing it.
Mhm.
It's like when I get when I'm able to add something to my arsenal
Mhm.
and I'm able to I'm one of those people that like to see the light bulb go off in somebody else's head,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and know
Mhm.
that I don't have all the tools. I know it's a lot of things out here. So I'm hungry to learn and then I'm hungry to teach. So
Mm.
learning teaching cycle is
Mhm.
where I find my joy.
Awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love it.
That's great. That's great. And what, okay, when you get leaders, people that say they want to be leaders, or people that
Mhm,
have aspirations to become more than, when you
mhm.
get them and you tell them to set their visions and goals, what's the number one thing you tell them to do? What's the very first step in setting visions and goals?
Well, I actually that's a part of my program, so I'm glad you asked me that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I have a step before that a lot of people skip, and it's a very important step. I always want to know what what are your values.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Mhm.
I want to know if you tell me your values,
Mhm.
that's more important than me driving in to see what your vision and goals are. Because let me tell you a very something interesting that happened to me. I consider one of my values to be family.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes.
tight with my family,
Yeah.
and but one of my goals is I own a lot of real estate and I need to keep it profitable, right?
Right.
So I work on it a lot.
Mm.
And even though now I've grown now, I have a property manager, you know, all this stuff going on, and I can be less
Yeah.
absorbed by it. But I'm gonna tell you
Yes.
about before that.
Mhm.
Before that, I came home one night and my daughter, but both my daughters, they're 2 years apart. They were like 7 and 9, and around that age. And the youngest one said, "Where you been, Daddy?" And I said, "Baby,
Mm-hmm.
I was out building our real estate empire because I want this for you, and I
Mhm.
want that for you." And she looked at me and she said, "Daddy, I gotta get ready to go to bed. I just wanted you."
Mm.
Mm.
And
We.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so if you say your core values,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if high in your core values is your family,
Mhm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
that's going to inform how you cast your vision and set your
Yeah.
goals.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So that's the first thing I take people through core values. And
Mm.
Exactly.
what are
That's awesome.
yours? Here's what they are. Here's the ones I know. You may know something I don't know. I want to know
Right.
from you. I'm not trying to force nothing on you. I want to know
Right.
where's your
Right.
heart. You know what I mean? Where's your heart? And
Yeah.
how do you want to serve in this world?
Mhm.
And
And
then,
do you find that some of the people that you deal with really don't understand the purpose of defining their visions and goals?
well, I find that a lot of people have not even thought about
Yeah.
doing anything about their core values.
Mhm.
They
Okay.
just
Yeah.
Okay.
they're just out here pushing on goals, pushing. Because
Yeah.
another one piece that I would add to your vision and goals is I talk to people about their mission.
Mhm.
Right.
And when we talk about that, it's like, okay, tell we know in the word it says, write the vision, make it plain, that
Right.
those they that read it may run with it.
Mhm.
But
Right.
before I have an outgrowth of my mission to my vision, I have to know
Mhm.
what my mission is within me. What am
Yeah.
I doing?
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what
Mm-hmm.
am I doing? What am I mission oriented? So
Mhm.
if I've done my homework with my core values, and then
Mhm.
that informs my mission, and I've
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
internalized those things, Then I'm ready to step into vision, and I'm ready to step into goals.
Right.
Right. So it's a step-by-step process. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yes.
if you skip those steps, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people uh, end up doing a lot of things. Everything good is not profitable for you,
Right.
and
Mm.
it could be a good thing, but does it fit? Let's go back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
your pastor, even your pastor asks you, listen, I want you to do this and do that and do the other, and you know your plate is full, but you don't want to disappoint pastor,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then
Mm-hmm.
you go back and say, Pastor, can I get back to you, please? Because I have some things I need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go home and you look at your mission.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my mission is this. I
Right.
know Pastor want to do that, and I know he wants me to lead it, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna be the most effective person to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
Right.
know, and people, I can tell you young ladies are people that get things done. So
Mm-hmm.
here's what I can assure you of.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody comes to you to get something done.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah.
You can't do
And there's
everything
so
for
much.
get your stuff done.
Yeah,
Right.
there's something
Right.
that says if
Right.
you want something done, ask a busy person to do it. And it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me because I'm the busy person.
Right. Well,
Exactly.
I'm not the one.
Exactly.
I'm not, and it's not so much that I'm not willing to be a part of whatever it is that they're doing. But
Mhm,
like you said, 9 times out of 10, when it's on the reverse,
mhm,
and I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to accomplish this, that, or the other, nothing above and beyond that they can't do.
mhm.
It's
Hmm.
almost like begging to
Well,
Hmm.
get someone, or they say they'll do it,
mhm,
and then they don't show up for it.
mhm. But on
You
the
know,
flip side, they come to you because you are an accomplisher, and so they think, "Oh,
Yeah.
let me just give it to this person because they accomplish things. They get it
mm-hmm.
done." So the busy really means, I think, in that sense, is that you accomplish things. You get
You
stuff
accomplish things.
you
Yes.
get stuff
Yes.
done. So they're giving it to you, regardless of whether you are in alignment with that thing, because their objective is to get it done. Not,
No, no, they're
not,
They
just
want it
trying to
off.
get it done.
They want it off their plate.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You are a demonstrated performer.
yeah,
So I'm gonna give it to you.
yeah,
Man, woo! I don't
exactly.
have to worry about it no more.
Right,
You know.
exactly.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right,
Now, on the flip side of
right.
this, I want to word this to where it doesn't sound like really negative because I don't think it was. I had a person and they are inviting me to be on their team in a company, like, an affiliate marketing company kind of thing. And so their question to me was, are you passionate about this? Because in the preamble up into, are we going to do this? She's like, are you passionate about this? And I was like, hold on. I really don't know enough about it. So, no, my answer is absolutely no, I'm not passionate about it because I'm not there yet. I need to, get in and figure out, and then so as we were talking, they said to me, you know what, when I first joined this, I wasn't passionate about it either. It's just as I got to get involved and I love helping people and I could see that this really helped people, then the passion came. So a lot of times, again, you are people are looking for not only to get it done, but they're like, oh, they see that maybe you have passion within you and they want to apply your passion for whatever they've seen you do to the task that they need, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that part of us of what we do, and even in creating this podcast, is like to try to make the links easier because a lot of times we don't vet the persons that we see on these social media sites. We don't vet people that we bump into at some of the outward events. We don't vet people enough. So when we look at it, one of the things that stuck out for me was the wording on your bio that said coaching leaders to greatness.
Hmm.
That's such a catchy thing that, as you said, I am a woman of discernment. I'm looking at it going, okay, so is he the coach that says get out there and do your thing, or is he the coach that teaches the thing? Is he the coach that says here's the tools you need, now go use them, or is he the one that shows you how to use the tools? Is he the one that can apply all of the things that are necessary, and when I come back and say I think I failed, he gives me that encouragement to continue on? And before you even answer, before you even say anything, I can tell just by the conversations that we had that the answer to everything is yes. He's that type of person, that he's not going to let you fail. And when he says he's coaching leaders, he already sees the leader in you, because we all have that. We all have a leader within us. It's just the ability to bring that leader out, the ability to help rise to the occasion, as they say. So you tell me, when you're coaching leaders to greatness, how deep do you have to go?
With your permission, while something is on my mind, I want to
Okay.
go one thing before I answer that.
Okay.
I want to go back to when you said that you didn't have any problems with the kids in your house.
No.
Your kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the youth center was something different.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me just talk about that for a minute, because it jarred me when you said that. And here's the reason why. You know, when people don't understand that the way things happen are because of atmosphere.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm just going to go back to this story because it's one of my favorites to talk about this subject. When the devil was in heaven before he left, he said, I can do this. This looks
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
Man, take a third of these folk and we're going to go do our own thing.
Right.
Third of these angels. But what he didn't realize was that God had created an atmosphere.
Exactly.
And when we have the proper atmosphere, we
All
flow
can
under
get
what's
done.
called, say again?
Mm-hmm. All can get done.
Yeah, we flow under what's called the anointing.
Exactly.
It's a prayer that I say every day without fail. Lord, please don't let me leave anywhere too soon or get
Mm-hmm.
anywhere too early.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because where you are is where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so the reason that your house is in order
Mm-hmm.
is because your prayer closet is in order.
Mm-hmm.
You got that
Woo,
atmosphere.
say that. Say it. Say it. Say
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so when you go out, you still have your anointing, but we dealing with a whole bunch of spirits
Whole
coming from
different thing. That's right.
different households. And my
Mm-hmm.
mother taught for 35 years. I've come from a family of educators. And my mother's 90 now. But
Oh,
Bless her.
praise the Lord. That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
yes, several years back when she was younger, she wanted to go back to the classroom. But then she said, baby, this is a different day.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Such a different day.
Yes.
Such a
Yes.
different day.
So,
And it's funny that you said it that way, because you're absolutely right. My very first mission was to change the atmosphere in the club.
Mm.
That was
that's
my
it.
very first mission, to change the atmosphere for all the ages, because they had no separation. They mixed all the ages together and everything. It was to change the atmosphere. I didn't care what they did outside of the walls of the club. But inside that club, there had to be a change in the atmosphere. You are absolutely right. You are
Okay, so
absolutely right.
right, yeah. So Dr. Holland, what was gonna be the answer to your question? Because I know we're running out of time, and I want to hear this,
Mhm.
and then I have one question or maybe two
Must ask.
after.
Must
Ab-
ask.
Absolutely. So, in coaching leaders to greatness, it's my desire to, first of all, model what I'm teaching. And so I can't do that if I'm saying, go do this and go do that. I'm not going to hold your hand, but I am going to beat. Okay. It's a difference, because holding your hand, it makes me think about the caterpillar in the cocoon.
Yeah.
The caterpillar basically has to struggle to get out of the cocoon.
Yes.
But if I come over and I break open things, then when they get out, they're deformed.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yes.
Right.
the amount of struggle
Mm-hmm.
that is necessary.
Yeah.
And so I like to break open things for people and help them see. One of the things that my mentor Les Brown says is, as a coach, we take people to a place in themselves where they can't go by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Love it.
and so in my studies over the years, I have come to know something called the Johari window. And the Johari window is, if you're looking at me and we spend time together, you will see things in and about me that I don't even know about myself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I be around people that I trust to not pervert that and try to use me,
Yeah.
but to speak to it in a way where I can grow. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's
Wow.
my answer. I use that Johari window. I study people that entrust themselves to me. I spend quality time with them. I find out what their needs are. And if I'm lacking there, I either go research it, or I don't have a problem with their permission bringing in an expert on a subject.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it all. And I pride myself on, not that pride that comes with a fall, the good kind. I pride
Yes.
myself on being able to connect with people. And that's the Business Billion Summit, connecting with those who may be able to take you higher than where
Right.
you are.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So the caption here, it says coaching leaders to greatness. Who defines the greatness? How do you know?
That's an excellent question. Let me put it to you like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great thing that John Maxwell says is, be careful about climbing the ladder of success only to get to the top and realize you're on the wrong wall.
Right. Oh wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
here's what that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back, what are your core values?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
What's your,
Yes.
what's your
Yes.
vision?
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals? Are
Yeah.
you
Right.
better today than you were yesterday?
Mm.
Right.
If not, why not? What do we
Yeah.
need to do to get you where you need to be? And
Right.
so
Right.
great has to be defined by not me for somebody else, but them for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Felice, it's come to that time where we thank you, Dr. Holland, for
Absolutely.
giving us the time, because anybody preparing to go to speak in London the night before needs to be needs, needs to be getting ready. So we really appreciate the fact
Yeah.
that you came on and gave us your time, and we'd
Mm-hmm.
love to extend ourselves to the commitments that you have made as well. So we thank you. We truly do.
Hey,
We do.
We appreciate you.
here's what I say. You offered me the date and I accepted. It's not your fault I didn't look at the calendar.
Well, I just have to speak for myself, but I know that I'll send a thank you up to our Lord, because I was blessed by this conversation and just getting to meet you. So thank you so very much for honoring uh, your commitment.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I
And
was
just
going crazy for a minute there. I said, now I know we talked. Let me
you,
find out what happened.
yeah,
So I appreciate it. Yeah, we
here's the
appreciate it.
crazy thing. They wanted to meet tonight to talk about a few things. I was actually on a call when I got your message, and I was like, "Oh Lord!" And then I said, "I made a commitment. I have to go." I,
Mhm.
I have to. Y'all pray for me. I have to do better.
Well, we all do. We all do. We all do. Because trust,
Yes, yes, yes.
you know how it is. It looks great on camera, but behind the scenes, there's all kinds
Yes,
of
there's so much chaos going on. That's right. And not only that, I really want to make this statement to our audience that might watch the replay, or anyone that's listening. You have to understand, we are not on the level of taking our podcast to London. We are not on that level. We are not on the
Well,
level of having. No,
now.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me
No,
finish. Let me
let me
finish.
stop you for a minute. Let me stop you for
Wait,
a
let
minute.
me finish. Let me
No,
just
I
say
can't
this.
even let you finish. I can't even let you finish. Let me look. Don't fight the blessing, okay?
Okay.
Don't fight the
And that's
blessing.
what I was getting ready to say. We've been blessed. We've been blessed.
Let me speak something into your spirit.
Yes, please.
Listen, I'm going to London tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'll be there until Saturday.
Mm.
Set me up for a call any one of those days, and your podcast will be international.
Well,
There.
that's just fine,
That's
Felice.
how we do that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Look
Well,
at
we will
that. Blessings
definitely
will
get
come
that
from
done.
blessings.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
You
yes.
know,
We
maybe, just shoot me a text. I'm gonna have my phone with me. Just shoot me a text. I know I can't do anything tomorrow because when we're actually flying all it,
mm-hmm.
but I'll
Mm-hmm.
be there. Taking my daughter with me,
Nice.
and y'all know what this is. I'm trying to learn how to use this thing.
Is that the interpreter?
This is the Osmo Pocket 3. It's one of those things you take when it's supposed to make it easy to do interviews and all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And
Oh, okay. Okay.
Very
Okay.
good.
yeah, but you got to be smarter than it, and I'm not yet.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
Well, I will definitely make sure that we get a text to you so we can find out what day is
Mhm.
suitable for you and your schedule,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
see
we're
what
gonna
we
do
can.
this. We're going international. Let's go.
See,
Okay.
see there? That's right.
Okay.
Dr. Holland, I'm
Okay.
all with you. Wait, don't say that.
No. What I was going to say was we were blessed with him being pre-international.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I was
But
going with it.
again, he hitched us to his wagon.
Yes. And I love it. I love it.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. I love it. But Felice,
Hmm.
ask him that
Okay.
almighty
Yeah.
exit question,
Uh-huh.
please.
All right. So, Dr. Holland, and again, we appreciate all that you do, how you serve, in the ways that you show up, not only for your family, but your community. However, we always want to know that in all the things that you have been called to do, and in perfect example, because you are a man of faith and a man of God, and you know God worked for 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. So we always want to know, what do you do to recharge, to recenter, and get back, um, a feeling from all that you do?
Let me tell you that been married 34 years. Mentioned
Mhm.
that. Didn't mention that for the last 2 years, we are spending some weeks apart because I come back to Baltimore to look after my mother and also my daughters here.
Oh, mhm.
So for 32 years, we were with each other every single night. And now,
Mhm.
uh, we have different times when we're not together.
Mhm.
And I don't know whether this is what I'm gonna tell you.
Mhm.
Now, when we are together,
Mhm.
it is so awesome.
Uh-huh.
Right,
Don't
Not
you
that it
right,
like
wasn't
each other
awesome.
or something?
Not that
right.
it wasn't awesome. My wife probably see this baby. No. Not that it wasn't awesome before,
Uh-huh.
but now appreciation.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
and so when I'm feeling like, and it, when you both know when you're doing a lot, it happens. You feel disoriented sometimes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I basically say, okay, uh, don't matter what I'm doing. Now we're blessed to be able to do things on Zoom and all of that.
Yeah.
I gotta go see my wife.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Very
mhm.
I
good.
got met with my wife, and
Mhm.
because she's very busy, she's making a good impression. Praise report. She's been there 2 years,
Mm.
and the board in the school came to her and said, I know you got a 3-year contract, but could we negotiate up to 5 years now?
Wow.
Oh,
Woo.
okay.
Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that
Look at
blessing.
that.
That is great.
Yes. A
That's
And
blessing.
great. Yay.
after, after her own heart, she said, I'll have my people call your people.
There you go.
Because she's at the level now where her contracts are negotiated by lawyers.
Right,
Oh, well,
right,
there you go. Look at that discerning woman.
right, right,
I
right.
Because
love it so much.
we know that we don't know everything we need to know.
Yes.
And can I
Exactly.
share one thing? I know we're a little bit over, but I want to share
Mhm.
something with you.
Please.
I'm sorry.
I said, go
It's
ahead,
okay.
please.
Oh, okay. I told you I'm doing this summit. I want to tell you about one guy who I met, a guy named Mick Hunt.
Mm.
And when I met Mick, I did not know who I was talking to. We just hit it off. This is what I learned about Mick. He just told me a couple days ago. He said, Mark, and I validate. People tell me stuff like this. I gotta validate. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool, but let me check this. You know,
Mhm.
uh,
Spirit of
Mick,
discernment.
mm, so so Mick started an insurance agency, right? He from scratch. He took it to 15 million, and then he sold it. Then he started another firm, and he took it to 70 million and sold it. Now here's what I want you to hear. Then he started a podcast called Mick Unplugged, and it's #1 in the nation in his space.
Whoa.
Wow.
Why do I tell you that? Because I want you to meet Mick, because he's going to show you how to take your podcast,
Okay. Okay.
the heights that you couldn't even think about.
Right, right, right. Thank you. Thank
Blessings
you.
upon blessings upon blessings.
Just and just to thank God for that. I want to let our viewers know that that was our intention. That's the intention. We want to have the community build and grow based on not the questions that we just, like you say, rapid fire at you, but for
I
people
was
to
kidding.
understand for people to understand that the people that are in business are people.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're people, and you have to work with people. You can't go in saying, well, that's the CEO. Don't talk to him today. Call him 9 to 5. You have to understand that these are people, and the growth of people depends on those that can teach about the growth. And that's what we do. That's what we try to
Can
do.
you put in the chat for me, because I would love for your audience and yourselves to look at my www.businessbrilliancesummit.com. Look at what I'm doing, and be blessed.
Awesome.
www.brilliance.
I'm sorry, business
Mhm.
brilliance businessbrilliancesummit.com.
And so, Dr. Holland, I would also just like to say, you said something that was extremely profound for me. Is when a person comes to you, I believe Nanette was asking you this question of when a person comes to your leadership, and she talked about the visions and goals, and you said first you want to know what their core values are. I pray,
Yes.
and I believe that that's what Nanette and I try to do here on this podcast, is to see someone who's already a leader, already brilliant in their own right, but what are their core values, and how do they get to be, the success that they are in whatever they're doing? Because of course, like Nanette said, there's a person behind all of the outward things, the pastor, the leader, the mentor, the coach. There's a person back there.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And you want me to did you have a question for me? I'm
No,
sorry.
I was just saying that I feel that we're in alignment with what you say when you're
I'm
developing
with you.
leaders. Is that what our podcast I hope does is bring out the core values of the person. A lot of times we
Awesome.
have authors, or whether they're authors or entrepreneurs or a combination of both. It's like, okay, well, all of these accomplishments, but what drives that? What made that possible, right? Because a lot of times, and I think Les Brown has said this over and over again, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but he says, don't look at the person you see before you as the entirety of the person, because you're meeting them at probably at the point of their success and not everything that led up to it. Right.
That's it. I want to tell you something else that he says that blessed me, and I hope it blesses you. Because we talked about not jumping on every train that come down the road.
Yeah.
And he says, don't be the go-to person for people that you can't go to.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again for the people in the back and for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being the go-to person for people you can't go to, because a lot of people are in your space, in your face, as long as they can get something from you.
Right. But they ain't
But
got
then
nothing for you.
you could need
and I know that wasn't proper English, but
yeah, you could need a nickel and they out of there,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For sure, for true.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank Dr. Holland for taking this time out. We want to thank the audience for looking in. Those of you that will catch us on the replay, we want to remind you that the replay will be on YouTube as well as on my website, www.nanetteMbuchanan.com. We show the replays. Look at them as much as you need to. Take notes, and don't hesitate, because in 3 to 4 months, Dr. Holland and others that have been on the show will probably be a part of our magazine. So you get to see it again and again and again. We're trying to drill it in. We're trying to make sure that you understand that there's a place for you to elevate. And that's all we're looking to do, is help you elevate. So we want to wish everybody a good night. Thank you. Take care. Be blessed. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Dr. Holland.
Thank you all. It's been a blessing. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you from London.
Okay. And stand by, please. Okay.